On August 13, 2018, a 34-year-old pregnant mother and her two toddler daughters vanished from their home in Frederick, Colorado. The house was locked from the inside. The mother's purse, her cell phone, and her children's crucial allergy medications were all still sitting untouched on the kitchen counter. To the outside world, this family appeared flawless. Shanann documented almost every aspect of their lives to build her marketing career. Her husband, Chris, appeared in the background, often described by friends as the quiet, ideal father. Because Shanann's career required her to be constantly online, her sudden digital silence raised immediate alarms. By mid-morning, she had missed a scheduled obstetrics appointment and failed to answer a barrage of text messages from close friends. A pregnant woman who lives her life glued to her phone does not simply abandon it, leave her children's vital medication behind, and lock her own front door. These precise details immediately bypassed the typical waiting period for missing persons and triggered an urgent police response. Within hours, a local officer arrived to conduct a welfare check. He found Shanann's car parked in the garage, with the girls' car seats inside. Yet, when asked to come open the house, Chris took nearly 45 minutes to arrive, leaving police and a worried friend waiting on the driveway. Once inside, Chris offered his first alibi. He told the officer he and Shanann had an emotional conversation early that morning regarding a potential separation. After that, he claimed, she packed up the girls and voluntarily left for a playdate. But the timeline didn't hold. A next-door neighbor pulled up his home security footage, which captured Chris's work truck backing up his driveway and pulling into the garage at 5:27 a.m., an unusual move he claimed was just to load his tools. The camera caught zero evidence of Shanann or the girls leaving the house. That single angle of driveway footage proved that no one else entered or exited the property. With the runaway wife narrative dismantled by physical surveillance, investigators immediately turned their focus to Chris's digital footprint. A forensic sweep of Chris's smartphone exposed exactly what he was hiding. He had been conducting an affair with a coworker named Nicole Kessinger. Investigators recovered a trove of deleted text messages and discovered a secret calculator app on his phone used specifically to hide photographs of his mistress. The digital net quickly expanded to Kessinger. Her own web history revealed extensive searches regarding the affair and, ominously, inquiries about Amber Frey, the infamous mistress of convicted murderer Scott Peterson, including searches about how much money Frey made from her book deal. With the discovery of the hidden relationship, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and the FBI officially stepped in, asking Chris to submit to a polygraph test. This diagram shows how polygraph examinations establish a subject's baseline physiological response. Examiners measure resting heart rate and respiration, but when asked if he caused his family's disappearance, his baseline collapsed. On a scale where -4 indicates deception, Chris scored a catastrophic -18. He had failed every relevant question. In less than 72 hours, data forensics and biometric feedback had completely stripped away Chris's cooperative facade, officially shifting his status from a grieving person of interest to the primary suspect. Knowing they had him cornered, the interrogating agents deployed a specific psychological tactic. They offered Chris a fabricated way out, casually suggesting that perhaps Shanann had snapped and hurt the children, and that Chris only reacted to save them. Chris eagerly seized the bait. He asked to speak with his father, and in the interrogation room, spun his second lie. He claimed that he saw Shanann smothering their daughters on a baby monitor, and in a retaliatory rage, he strangled her. With a confession to his wife's death on record, authorities needed to locate the bodies. They didn't need to rely on Chris's word. They pulled the GPS data from his work truck, which directed aerial drone teams to a remote Anadarko petroleum site where he had been dispatched the morning of the murders. There, they found a shallow grave containing Shanann's body. Nearby, submerged inside two massive toxic industrial crude oil tanks, were the bodies of 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste. The forensic autopsies dismantled Chris's retaliatory narrative. The medical examiner confirmed that while Shanann died from manual strangulation, Bella had distinct defensive wounds, indicating she had fought back while being smothered. A sleeping mother could not have inflicted those specific injuries before supposedly being killed herself. This tactic is highly documented among killers with narcissistic traits. When cornered, they instinctively adopt a narrative of victimhood, blaming the very people they destroyed. But the objective reality of forensic pathology ensures that the physical evidence speaks for the victims, completely invalidating the attempt to shift the blame. Facing an insurmountable mountain of digital and forensic evidence, CeCe Watts pleaded guilty to 9 counts, including first-degree murder, to avoid the death penalty. There would be no public trial. The true chronology of the murders wouldn't be known until early 2019, when investigators visited CeCe in prison. He confessed that his crimes were highly premeditated. Weeks before the murders, he had secretly slipped Shanann an oxycodone pill in a deliberate, failed attempt to induce a miscarriage. He also revealed the harrowing reality of August 13th. After strangling Shanann in her bed, he loaded her body onto the floorboards of his truck. He then put his 2 daughters, who were still alive, into the back seat. For a grueling 45-minute journey to the oil site, Bella and Celeste sat just inches away from their murdered mother. Once at the site, CeCe smothered Celeste with her own blanket. When he turned to 4-year-old Bella, she pleaded for her life, asking her father not to do to her what he had just done to her sister. He smothered her anyway, without saying a word. The details of this final prison confession shattered any lingering theories that this was a sudden crime of passion. From the poisoned medication to the agonizing drive in the dark, the timeline proved this was a calculated, prolonged act of extermination. Today, CeCe Watts is serving 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole in a maximum security prison in Wisconsin. Even now, isolated from the outside world, he refuses to accept complete accountability for what he did. In letters written from his cell, CeCe attempts to reframe his own narrative yet again. He complains that his wife was domineering and career-obsessed, while simultaneously claiming that his mistress mesmerized him, blaming her for tempting him away from his supposedly righteous path. He shares these delusions with a steady stream of female pen pals who write to him in prison. Psychologists identify this attraction as hybristophilia, a condition where individuals are drawn to violent criminals, often believing that they alone can understand, fix, or redeem a misunderstood soul, completely rejecting the reality of the victims. Family annihilators operate on the assumption that they control the narrative. They rely on silence and erasure to clear the slate for a new life, believing they can discard human beings as easily as deleting a text message. But through the aggressive application of digital forensics and pathology, the truth surfaces. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico's story will forever outlive his lies.